YouTube channel. I'm here with my co-host Candy Nelson, and we have Sheila Renee Roeder with us. How are you ladies tonight? Everyone doing good here?
Doing good.
Sheila, you doing all right?
I can barely hear you now.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Can you turn your volume up some?
I did.
Okay.
Let me see
I
what's
hear you
going on
okay,
here.
Candy. I hear Sheila good. Do you hear me, Candy?
Yes.
Okay, good job. Is that any better,
No.
Sheila? Okay, so Candy hears me. I hear you guys just fine. Just try to bear with it. I think we can do this. So, yeah, that's the only thing I can do. My volume's up. I think yours is up. Let me look at yours. Hold on a second. I've got a touch screen here, so that's not helping. Hold on. Yeah, I hope. Let me see. I think I've got Sheila. No, Sheila's is there too.
Sharon's here. Hi, Sharon.
Hello, Sharon. I know she was waiting. She was like, okay, I'll go on then. Yeah, we just came on.
Let me
Sheila,
try to reconnect with you guys.
Okay.
Hi, Bobby. Right. Bobby's here
All
too.
right, let me leave and I'll come back.
All right, sounds good. All right, I'm glad you guys are here. Sharon, I love that you just tuned in, even though you're busy. Thank you for that. And Bobby, we appreciate you because you've been so good about being here too. Both of you guys are amazing and just warriors at that. That's a no-brainer. So, and Sharon, you got to share some good news with me later when we talk about today and how that went, and we will just leave it at that. So with that said, we're going to try to get Sheila back up here. We're trying to do a three. So, wow, we're trying to do a threesome, guys. Yeah, that's what I'm talking
dangerous.
about. So, anyways, back out of the dirty mind part, because that wasn't mine. That was the Morgellons talking. Morgie mind. Morgie mind, right? I don't know.
Morgie Mega Mind.
Morgie Mega Mind. Morgie Porny Mind. Morgie Porgy Mind. That's what I tried to say. Wow. So yeah, everything's good here up in my head. I don't see Sheila back yet. That's weird though. We were all three talking before we got on the stream, and everyone could hear everyone clearly.
We had so many technical challenges tonight between the three of us.
I'm already challenged, so but I think we can do this. And I'm just, when I see her, I'll put her back up. And what I'll do is try to put one up at a time as we're speaking. I think that's easier sometimes. I mean, there might be times I have us all three up, but I first of all was thinking about how blessed I am to have all of you guys. It's Sharon too. You guys have been so good to me. I mean, all of you guys, of course. But like Sharon sent me these beautiful bracelets and anklets that say warrior, and they just encourage me so much just to keep fighting the good fight. And then of course Sheila sent me the Bible with, you know, the little booklet of verses and cards and uplifting things, which brought tears to my eyes. And then of course I get home yesterday and Candy's got her beautifully homemade items that are amazing, just packed full. And I'm just so blessed, you know. I'm so very blessed to know you guys and have you guys in my life, and all of you here on this channel. So blessed that you're here. So very blessed. You have no idea. We've got Sheila back. So there you are. Hello, Sheila. Can you hear better now? Better a little bit?
Hello, Sheila.
Better? No? Is it
Hello?
the volume?
Hi, we hear you now.
Awesome.
Yes. Can you hear us?
Yep, I sure can.
Yay. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do tonight is, I was thinking that you ladies both have so many contributing items and ideas to offer others as far as remedies and whatnot. And we do a lot of remedy shows. But I was thinking tonight, since we have the three of us, maybe we should talk about what we're feeling inside when we go through this, and the understanding that comes from the community, and how we deal with that, and a better way to deal with that. And maybe, you know, what's the best way to go about not letting Satan come into our world and rain on our parade, because I know I've had my bouts with that a lot lately. I know Sheila's probably struggled. Candy, we struggle. We all struggle. I know we do. But I know you ladies have some good advice. So what I was thinking is I'll take myself down from here and maybe start. You know what, Sheila? We haven't had you on in a while. So maybe start with you and Candy and Sheila. Or you and Candy and Sheila, because you are apparently I duplicated you tonight. So just you and Candy, and maybe you guys can give some advice on what you think as far as the spiritual battle goes, and not just with Morgellons. I mean, because there are other elements to this, as you and I both know, Sheila, and Candy. We've seen the supernatural side, and I think a lot of Morgellons sufferers do. I mean, it goes without saying. Um, some people call us crazy, think we're crazy. And of course, Morgellons disease in general, we get dubbed that. But the thing is, we know we're not. It's worldwide. It's worldwide. I mean, that should ring a bell. People screaming the same thing and singing the same song, and people scrutinizing and judging, and because your eyes are opened to the reality of the world. So I would like to ask both of you what your opinions are, how you handle it, and what you do to persevere in life with that, because it's not easy. It's not. So I'm gonna take myself down here, because I think that this will be a great thing with the two of you with your insight as well. So here we go.
Okay.
Well, yeah, that was just throw me in the fire. So I'm not going to go into like, I'm going to just stay right in the moment. So, because we all have baggage from our past. So, and this is about, most of us that have Morgellons, or more importantly, even being spiritually awake, have had really rough lives. We've loved more than what we've been loved, and that's okay. It's preparing us, I guess, for this moment right here. And it's not easy. In the beginning, this is a very lonely, lonely, lonely road. Everybody leaves you, because I remember reading in the groups when I first got sick. The first thing, and I wrote a big story about this. If you Google the groups about it, it's there somewhere. If you just Google my name and the groups, search it. But it was a story about, I said, when this began, I read, you lose your hair. And I said, well, that won't happen to me. I have lots of hair. And then I heard you lose your teeth. And I said, well, that won't happen to me. I have lots of teeth. My teeth, I have nice mercury-filled teeth, right? And then I said, it said, and then I read, you lose your family and your friends. And I said, well, I'm not going to lose my family and friends. Why would I want to lose them? Right now it's the most important time. I'm going to need them. They're not going to forget who I am. Well, yeah, guess what? I lost my family, most of my family, almost all my friends. And then I read, every single one of those things. And what it came down to, isn't it funny how we're all about me? And I just want to say that, because here I thought I was, but I just thought that I was better than that there was something more special about me, that I wouldn't go through that. And it's been a humbling experience. And to be honest with you, I thought I was cursed. But I'm not cursed. I mean, there for a while, it can take you to the depths of hell. And I don't mean that in just words. I mean, it is the loneliest, awfulest, ugliest place to be. And if you don't hide yourself to crawl back up out of that pit, it will take you. And you don't want that. Nobody wants that. It's a horrible thing. But you got to fight. And I think it comes down to, it takes everything so that you learn to rely on God. you learn to leave this world. Like, I'm not of this world anymore. I'm in it, but I'm not of it. This is truly what it means to be set apart. Not that I'm special, like above anybody else. We're here to help each other, our brothers and our sisters. But this is what it means to be set apart. Like, I don't see me of this world anymore. I'm just in it. I'm in it, and I see the world for what it really is. And for people that are just awake, like Candy and I's conversation the other day is still in my mind when she said, our job is to wake them up. But when we wake them up, it's exhausting because they're back where we were, which is horrified. And it's so much for them to wrap their minds around. And you remember that talk we had the other day? And God bless you, because that's where I was at. I was just like, my spirit can't take no more. And you were like, but it's our job to wake them up. And it is our job. It is our job. But it is exhausting. So anybody that's going through this right now, this is a hard place to be because nobody's going to believe you. And I already know when I say something, this is what kills me. Like, I go over in my mind what it sounds like when I'm going to say something. Like, in my mind, I'm already saying, that's Sheila. That is so out there, right? I already know I sound crazy. But if you just take the time to do what I do, I don't believe anything. I look it up. I don't believe nothing. It's not that I don't want to not believe you. It's just that I have to see it myself. In this world full of all this stuff, you need true discernment, and it's on you to find it.
You got to be your own fact checker. You hear me? You got to be your own fact checker.
That's right. That's right. And boy, these
fact checker is never going to tell you the truth, by the way. Like, come on now, it's not rocket science.
But it's so true. And it is exhausting because you get frustrated. And Candy and I talked about that yesterday, and I know that me and Lisa have. The most frustrating thing for all of this is our own families, because we love them and we don't want to give up on them. The sad thing is they gave up on us. But we got to keep fighting.
Yeah. Well, back to what I said too. You know, we had a podcast one night talking about energy leeches. Well, we don't realize that sometimes we are the energy leeches, and we're talking about this stuff all the time because we live it. You know, we're consumed with it, and all of our friends are consumed with it. So we're talking about it all the time, and so we don't realize that people that are not physically or mentally in the same place as us, then we're leeching their energy, and we don't even realize we're doing that.
So we're just trying to wake them up, though, you know?
Yeah, but
or just have compassion, because where did that go?
You have to learn to walk a fine line. Like, I can't let this. Me and Lisa talked about this. I refuse. Now, I have my moments, and I want to tell people this. It is okay to hit your knees. It is okay to have a bad day. Stop. I want people to stop saying, oh, you got to be strong. Oh, you just got to. No, it is okay to cry. It is okay to be afraid. It is okay to have that moment when you're on your knees. The thing is you got to get back up.
Yep. That's just it right there.
You're allowed to have that moment. You're allowed to look in the mirror and cry. You are allowed to feel this pain. You are missing your family.
Well, that's what makes you human. If you no longer have those emotions, then you're no longer human.
Exactly. So it is okay to have those weak moments. It doesn't mean that you're not a warrior. You're love. Because you feel that, it means you still love. And that's the problem in the world today. It all comes down to love, and that's the problem. That's the solution, but we're lacking it, so it's the problem. So I
You
say to you,
know,
if you're on
I
your knees,
agree.
it's okay. If you look in the mirror and you feel like, God, I don't even know me anymore, it's okay. If you got to cry because you can't even remember who you were, it's okay, because guess what? You're going to grieve that woman. You will not come out of this the same person. But what you will come out,
That's perfectly acceptable.
you have to grieve yourself, because you're never going to be the same again. But that takes time.
Well,
It takes time.
and another thing too, I was telling Lisa, I spent so many years with bloody, crusty lesions on my face and just itching and pain and horrible. And so when it started physically getting better, it was like I didn't know who I was. I felt
Get
like I
so
was like
used to
in a
that.
coma. I felt like I was in a coma for 40 years, and I woke up and I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing, who I was, what kind of personality I was supposed to have, who I was supposed to care about, what I was supposed to be doing. And I just sat here for like probably, I don't know, a good 3 or 4 months trying to just, I didn't even know myself. I did not even know myself. And like I said, I thought of it as being in a coma for 40 years and waking up going, what is going on around me? Because I had no idea, you know?
And
And
you've
Well,
known it
I
and
a
longer
great
than
sense of
anyone
loss.
else.
Well, remember I told you too about when I was in the shower and I was bathing and I'm standing in the shower and I'm washing my body and I all of a sudden I started shaking. I couldn't breathe and I had to grab onto the towel water and I was like, what is wrong with me? I'm like, why am I feeling this way? I feel so empty and I'm washing my body and I'm like, oh my God, I'm
Like
missing.
a
I felt like I was missing
extremity cut
something.
off.
Yeah, and
I
well, what I was missing was the lesions and the pain. For the first time in 20 years, I took a shower without screaming,
right.
and I felt that sense of loss,
Yes.
because I wasn't in pain, and the water didn't hurt when it hit my skin, and it affected me physically.
Yes. Well, I wanted to. We trip over ourselves we are walking a line of a world that we're not in it. Okay, we're not in it, but we're still trying to have a life with our families and a life with this
And it shouldn't be too much
unbelievable.
to ask either. It shouldn't be too much to ask of them,
But
whether they want to believe
here,
it or not.
see, our family won't come into our world, and we wouldn't want them to. And not
But
that
we
it's
would
not
never
affecting
start
them.
rescuing them.
It's not exactly. But the thing is, it is happening to them. They're just not aware. It either
That's why they're
hasn't
not
built up in their system enough or whatever. Now, as far as the spiritual stuff, not everybody. I don't want to scare anybody here with Morgellons. Not everybody that has Morgellons goes through the spiritual demon nastiness. They don't. They go through a whole lot of WTF moments. Okay, that's what they go through, because none of this should be happening to our bodies. I went to nursing school. This should not be happening. I know anatomy. This should not be happening. And we all know that. Even if you're just a mom, you know that. Even if you live 25, 40 years, 50 years, you know it. But not everybody, I don't want to scare anybody with Morgellons. Not everybody's spiritually awake. Now, that's a whole other plane in itself.
them
But I will
to go
tell
on
you,
artist rails.
you will not get through this without God.
Amen. And for
I'm
those of
telling
you
you,
that think, like, I just spoke with someone the other night, and bless his heart, I never talked with him. I met him through an IT guy at work that said, "Oh, I have a friend you need to talk to him." Called me, and my heart breaks for him because he's been diagnosed with Lyme disease, which we all know that Lyme is a big part of this. And he's miserable. He can't hardly get off the floor some days. He's hurting. He's tired. He's anxious. He's weak, and he's giving up. And he said, "I'm angry. There is no God." When I brought that up, there is no God. Why would God do this? And it's so hard to put into words or explain, because when you get this, I think we all somewhat feel that anger in that way, and angry, and we ask that question. But what we forget is that we were given free will. We were born into a sinful world. Satan is the ruler and the leader and the principalities of evil in the air and all around and of this world. I mean, he's in charge, he's large and in charge. And we are part of that sin created by men. Maybe not our fault, because I'm used to saying it. Maybe not our fault, but we were born into it. And the thing is, God is not doing this to us. Sometimes we're and we're sitting there and we're angry, and all we really had to do was just be still and say, God, this is too heavy. It's too heavy. It's too much to carry. Carry this load. I need you. I'm talking, just like the scripture goes, lay down your heavy load, your weak and tired bodies. I'm here. And a lot of people don't believe in scripture. And I mean, it is like, spaghetti monster in the sky, blah, blah, blah. But when you have something like this, or Lyme disease, or everything that's been neglected and nobody understands, you've got to know that came from somewhere. It came from evil. We were doing this in the freaking 40s. We had Lyme disease came from somewhere. Tick-borne virus disease, whatever they want to say. Okay, but I'm going to ask you this question. You think those ticks just suddenly on one island got sick with just that, all by their little lonesomes? You got to think outside the box, number one. But number two, it is man-made. All of it is. God didn't do this. This is Satan's world. We're living here. He is incorporated his life in every way possible, through the monetary system, the banking system, the need to have material and physical things, the need to do this and self-satisfy and never be happy or content with anything at all, because we're used to getting. And so what I'm trying to say is, if anyone would just throw their hands up in the air, come to that point where, like, I can't do it anymore, and
Surrender.
just reach out and ask God, he will 100%. You have to give yourself the faith to have in him, and I'm telling you, he will be the reason you get back up every time. And this, my friends, is why I think we go to our knees sometimes, why we're shown these hard times, because we are not of this world, of the physical world. It is not of importance. It's a miracle.
I want to say something that I shared on my Facebook today. If you guys get a chance, go to my wall and look at it. But it's just a few posts down. But it's from this man named Larry Montgomery Morrell Jr. was live. Anyway, he says, a message to the depressed, a message to one struggling. So when this guy, he's like got tattoos all over his body, recovering drug addict, recovering alcoholic, tried to kill himself like multiple times, but he's out there preaching now. And so his message today that I shared earlier was, he was saying that no matter how bad your day is, that's a blessing. Bad days are blessings. And so, even though as hard as it is, we're not supposed to not go through pain and suffering and things. That's part of being human. And so anyway, it's just so powerful. It's like 7 minutes long. But
Jesus hung on the cross with us.
Yeah, he was crying and begging. He's like, I'm always being positive and everything. He's like, but I'm really having a bad day, and my mind's going to a dark place. And and he's
Satan
saying,
is the ruler and leader here.
And he's like, no, and he's saying, no, Satan, you don't control me. You don't control my thoughts. And it was just so very powerful. And I was like, I had to share it. But if you go on my Facebook, you'll see it. I'll try to remember to tag you all later on it. But
yes, please do.
Amazing.
Those are the people that have been to hell and back.
I think I shared it too in the Finding Hope group, because it was talking about, that we have suicidal thoughts. And sometimes, we're in so much pain and we just can't get our minds wrapped around, why are we going through this? Why me? And then he just turns it all around in the end. And it's just like, wow. So yeah, we all go through that, but that don't mean we stay there and it has no power. Like we said up at the labyrinth, you have no power over me,
we're all sinners. We are all sinners. I don't care if you're peeking at porn, as I said earlier. I don't care if you're taking a little, booty on the side. I don't care what it is that you're doing. I don't care if it's the littlest thing, like just thinking about, shall I say it's a large Coke that I want, and then get the extra large and fill it. I don't care what it is. Sinful nature is sinful nature, and that's because we were born into sin, and this is a sinful world. There's not one perfect human being here, never will be, and there was only one that ever lived. And the thing is, it is hard to get that in your mind. It is hard to understand that because we weren't alive then. We weren't there. We didn't know what all was going on. But when you get Morgellons, or when you're like the guy that you said, a testimony in his drug addictions and incarcerations, or it seems like those are the people that have been brought to their knees for whatever reason, literally brought to their knees in their most despairing, desperate moments in life, where their pain is about to just burst from their chests and they feel like they can't go on. That is when you are rescued from the storm. You see the world through new eyes. And you also see things in the skies. I rhymed. But you see the world for the reality, and that is the reality is Satan is the ruler and the leader.
You know what?
There and of this world. He is
I'm
of
glad,
this world.
glad to hear you say that, because I just want to give a shout out to my buddy Ricky Murphy, man. I mean, that guy, his whole life went through. Well, he's not here, but I'm just saying.
I know, like Ricky. I used to call Ricky.
Yeah, he went through so much, and he's come so. He just turned everything around. I'm so proud and so happy for him. He just got married. Yeah, I know. I'm like,
when I met him, he was already a testimony to me, inspiration and knowledgeable, and you guys.
I knew him in his bad times, his really bad times, but I'm like, golly,
Sheila knows. We all know we have dark moments, the darkest, obviously, more than what people know. But the thing is, we have people out there incarcerated of all sinful natures, right? And I am not going to lie. If I meet a child molester, I pray he burns in hell. I do. Or her, either one. That's not the point. That is not even supposed to be out of my mouth. The thing is, a sin is a sin is a sin because we were born into Satan's majesty, so to speak. He is in control. There's a system set into place. Your financial systems, everything you do, the strives to have a bigger and better car, bigger and better house, or just a house at all, or a bigger tent. It really doesn't matter what you're looking for. So we're always seeking.
But do you understand?
Is material things, and freaking, what does that matter? We need to lose that. You find it. To find what matters, I should say. Sorry,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're talking about houses and you're talking about cars, but nobody ever understands that the fact that you don't own them. Do you get that?
You never own anything because they keep you at Satan's mercy.
You might be on the deed, but the moment that you die,
or don't pay taxes,
you're just borrowing stuff. You're only borrowing it as you're passing through this life. So why would you want to sell your time?
Because you get to say that you have that.
Not have nice things, but we have way more than we need.
And our suffering comes from our own hands, a lot of it. When we seek out the material world, when we forget what matters, when we forget to love back, when we forget to be patient, when we think that, well, I've been a good person my whole life, because I said this myself, I've been a good person. Why is this happening to me? This is not fair.
Okay, Penny.
I think we've all said that, right? But the thing is, like we've said before, why not me? Why not me? Broad shoulders, I can carry this luggage. And not only that, I praise the Lord every day this happened to me. I really do. And I hate it. It hurts. It's painful. I don't like it. But I am so thankful because I'm aware, I'm awake, and I see the fact that hell is very real and heaven is very real.
And we're living in Revelation.
See that after this. You do. I was not a religious type person.
We're part of the Bible story now.
We are all walking in faith.
And Sheila and I was talking about, we were talking about all the abuse and stuff like that we went through over the course of our lives and everything. And it's like, it's like we died 1,000 deaths emotionally. And it's like, but yet here we are. All the
But it
physical.
prepared us. It prepared us for this moment, Candy.
Yeah, and then those massive lesions I had on my leg all the way down to my bone, and I'm like, I shouldn't be alive, but here I am,
Yeah.
None of us should be alive, but by the grace of God, we are.
Exactly.
That's
We're
just
here
it.
for a
I
reason.
think people that think for me,
It has to serve a greater purpose.
it
So,
does. That's what I'm saying. Yes, it does. There's no poor me. You're blessed because you have to lose it all in order to gain what matters. You do.
But
And I'm not saying
Twist
that's
says
being
that.
taught. I'm saying it
Twist,
is a reality.
what Twist says, when you're called, the first thing God is going to do is going to take you from yourself. Well, first you're going to lose your things. You're going to lose your stuff of this world. You're going to lose it. You have to lose it. You got to lose being a part of this world.
Lose the sense of self you thought you were.
And then you lose yourself.
Yeah.
And because you can't be in this world. And I'm telling you, I know it was hard for me, but I'm so humbly thankful. And it's hard for all of us. I am too.
I
am
could
too.
not know the Lord better, and the fact
And
that
I
it's
found
real.
a better family. I found a real family. Some of you, I've never even touched your hand, and I know, and you know me better than my own family. Isn't that crazy?
Very narrow, and few will enter, but your family will be there, right? And we are of the Father. We're all related, no matter what. We're of the Father's seed. That's where we come from. So
it's just funny. Like we don't even meet each other, and I'll tell you, we've really been at the pit because now listen, my daughters have cancer, so understand that I say this kind of with a heart that hurts for this. But Morgellons is worse than cancer.
yes.
I couldn't tell that to my children.
yeah,
They wouldn't understand that.
Too, but I think she understands that this is
But the thing is, with cancer, you know what you're fighting, and people feel sorry for you, and they want to be there for you, and they want to support you. With Morgellons, even the ones I didn't think would walk away, walked away.
Amen.
Yeah.
And even when they start to even believe,
the people with cancer, it's like, what can I do for you? They're doing fundraisers, and they're getting like
chemo,
sympathy and support and hugs and love and us. It's
and
like,
I'm counting pennies for Bora.
I ain't even talking to her, or it's like, oh, hey, how you doing from across the room?
Yep.
Frenemies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's a very unfair world, but the thing is, when you realize, you start to understand that this was never about fairness. There was nothing in this world that said, you know what, when you're born, it's going to be very fair. Nothing. I mean, there's nothing more special about any of it. Some have it easy, but some hard. But the ones that, sorry.
But Lisa, it's how we do this walk. It's how we do this walk. This is a job interview. That's how I want you to think about it. This is a job interview for what position we take, and we're just passing through. That's it. So I'm going to tell you, the most humble, kindest, loving, generous people that I have ever met in my life who should be bitter, angry, selfish, hateful are all the people in the Morgellons groups. I don't know if I've ever met one that is hateful, would wish this upon anyone. We help each other as well as try to help our own families, but we help each other And on one time, sometimes in the groups, people will say, "Would you wish this on anyone? If you could wish this on anyone, would you?" And we say, "No one." I would say 99% of the replies to that question are that we would never wish this upon even the most person who did the worst to us.
Or we would take that pain for them. Isn't it amazing how humbled you become? How more.
Uh, the
I've
people,
always believed myself to be a humble, loving, giving person, right? And I'm sure you guys did too. But isn't it amazing how much
is amazing.
more that you find in yourself, like the best parts of you that like flourish and present themselves shining, and even if the world is blind, they're blind for a reason because they're suffering from
You know,
something.
people say to me,
Yes.
people will say to me, Lisa, they'll say, "Sheila, you were so beautiful," and I'll say to them, "You're right, I was pretty and I didn't even know it." But you want to know something?
I think you're more beautiful now.
But listen, I say to them, but I am so much more beautiful now, and it's on the inside.
You
It's
two
on the
women are the
inside.
most beautiful women ever. I mean, because of your hearts, when you shine on the inside, it reflects your outside. Like more beauty than I've ever seen on any person comes from the two of you. I'm serious, because it reflects, it radiates from you with the love
But you're the
and the
same way,
greatness giving hearts you have. So, amen to that one, though.
So Lisa,
Like, we
I
have
look at
to
you.
understand that it's not like we are born into a perfect world and we're just suddenly perfect, and we've never been perfect. But it's amazing. Sometimes abandonment is exactly what you need in order to find yourself and the truest meaning of who you are. And come to find out, sometimes just learning to re-know yourself in your true form is enough. You don't need anyone else's approval or, well, you're crazy. We come to find out, sometimes when you are brought to your knees and you are so alone, it's the best thing that could ever happen to you, because you learn how to literally warrior up, rise above, and love yourself and understand how very strong you are without any approval from anyone else. In fact, so much so that when they call you names or pity you pray for them, or you put your hand out and do the exact opposite of what they've done to you, because you know they're lost. You know they're
And
again
another thing too, like when I was going through a lot of my emotional pain and suffering, and even long ago, I told you I used to sit on the city bus and talk to myself. But it's like my poems that I would write and the things that I write, like the living to die and dying to live thing. It's like that letter that I just wrote. All of those poems and all of those deep writings like that, what what caused that, okay, was a deep hurt inside of me, and I was able
Yes.
to get it
it's like
out and get it
bleeding. You
on
release it to
paper.
bleed out
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So when it's on paper, it's no longer inside of me. So it's like
It's a release.
yeah. And so
You
yeah,
breaking the chains that bound you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so even if you can't write poems or whatever, you can't even write, anything that just sounds like nice or pretty or anything. Write it on paper. It doesn't matter what it is.
Just
Write it on
journal. Just
See what
journal.
Sheila does
You know what?
too.
You know,
Sheila put it in her grandbabies,
I write
right?
to. I sometimes I write to God in my
Yeah.
journal. I write, "Dear God," or
Same as mine.
sometimes I write, "Dear me," just "Dear me," and it's a letter to myself.
You show yourself the love and deserving, you know, rewards that you do in fact deserve. But Sheila, I watched you pour your time, even though you're tired and you're hurting, and you've taken your grandbabies. And I see all these. I talk to you when you're on the phone. I hear you in the background. And I see all these beautiful pictures, and I think, what a good woman, showing them, though she hurts, a better way of life, a good, loving, and nurturing way of life,
Uh,
attention and respect, and
what they don't know is and all of you here with the Morgellons, you get it. So what they don't realize is, because you were talking about, we were talking about the depths of it, but what you got to rise above. And my grandchildren are my greatest joy. They are the sunshine in my life. And I don't have the best relationships with my children anymore. And I've come to understand that it's just going to be that way. Can't make them love me the way I love them.
Do it. I get it. I've
The
tried.
promise was mine. But listen, the promise was mine. It was never theirs.
Yeah.
When I had them, I promised to love them all the days of their life. And I'm going to keep that promise. But the promise wasn't theirs to love me that way. And when I accepted that, it's hurtful, but it's okay. It's less pressure. Okay, but it doesn't mean I'm giving up either. I pray every morning for them and I pray every night for them. But those grandchildren, now, and Lisa and I talked about it because I was going through some really tough times. Like, I was walking with a walker. I've been on oxygen, you name it. It's not always easy. So, but those grandchildren come in and they don't realize what they bring with them. And when they leave, what I have to go through, because they bring in stuff from the outside and they're not as careful as we are.
And we're scared of that stuff too. It's hard.
It is hard. And
I'm not
a lot of
anymore, but I remember that feeling.
When they come, I break out in lesions after they go. I don't care. The devil ain't gonna stop me from loving them babies. I don't care.
I quit my job the other day from a boss that didn't give a crap, and all she could say is, "Where'd your money go?" When I couldn't afford a new computer, I'm like, you know what? The best portion of that money was $1,000 I spent to go see my grandbabies in Oregon. And here's why. Listen, woman, because they're our future. We have a future right now that is not looking pretty, and that's just if there's much left. And I mean, if you're me or a lot of us around here, we know we're living in the end. We are living in the end. This is scriptural. It's biblical. It's been written. Count your lucky stars that you are spitting this stuff out, even if it makes you sick. Your body's rejecting it. It's called herxing. You're fine though, because you're spitting it out. You're aware. You're awake. You're obviously seeing what's going on. But you've been given the eyes to see, the ears to hear. You've got broken chains that bound you once. But don't forget, those babies are our future. Right?
Lisa's pretty fond of my grandson, my 4-year-old grandson.
Oh my God.
And he is why we got to talking, because something very spiritual had happened to him. And I'm going to tell all of you, we're talking about God and we're talking about your spirituality. But I want to tell you, I went to the church like many of us have, and I got sent away. Because that's where you go first. If you have if your past has the church in it, and you have this crazy stuff going on, and you just the devil got a hand in it, where are you going to go? You go to the church. Well, let me tell you, I got gaslit and sent away. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But the church is us, people.
That's
the church
because
is
that was created by the leaders.
Yeah, I've reached out to several pastors in my neighborhood to talk about this, and they all just no, they don't.
They don't want to. No. So I want to get back to this grandbaby. So that's why I got a hold of Lisa, because this happened, what I was going through, and then what happened to my grandson. Oh Lord. And Lisa helped me with that, because I am awake, and I didn't get awake in a nice gradual kind of way. I got woke up.
Me too.
I just didn't even. It was horrible. But my grandson and my grandchildren, a lot of my grandkids. So it must be something in my DNA. I don't know, but they're definitely affected by this. And my grandson was here. Really had a rough time he was here, and I'm just going to say it. So it was full moon, and I didn't realize it. And I was over at a friend's house. I never drive at nighttime. I had my daughter's minivan, and the laundry was in the back, in a garbage bag. It was sitting in the back, and I put the little boy in the seat. And please, I don't want to hear about this, that, and I had him up front. He was in the back in the beginning. He starts screaming in the van, and so I had to pull the van over on the way home. And he struggles talking. He has all the symptoms for autism, but he does
all
this
fiber
when
related. Harold Potts talks about that.
yeah, he does this.
All of it is this
He
relationship.
takes those hands when he sees a demon or a monster. He calls them monsters, and he goes like this with both hands. I can only do it with one because I'm holding the phone. And he's horrified. So I get out of the car and I look up and I see it's full moon. I was like, "Oh, Sheila, what are you doing out here? We don't ever go out of full moon. I go to bed early. Yeah, I hunker down the week before and the week after. So, but he's horrified. So he's pointing to my laundry and he says, snakes. He's horrified. And he's 4. He's not going to make this up. And I said,
I see the serpent life, yeah.
He was screaming. So it took me a while to get him to come to me to go past the laundry. Okay, because it's in a bag. It's in a clear, in a bag. So I put him up front with me because he was horrified. This baby horrified. And I put him up front with me, put him in the car seat, put him up front, and I had to hold his little hand all the way home. That's horrible. So you got to be the warriors by children. Okay, you got to be the ones to tell them, because I'll tell you what it came down to. So when we got home here, something was bothering him here, and he comes out crying, and I said, buddy, what's wrong now? And he goes, he makes the monster like thing, and I don't want to lead him down that road. So I say, is there something there? And he goes, yes. And I said, it's not leaving me alone. And he goes, no. And I said, you come here. And I sat him up on my lap. And I said, now you tell it to go. You rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I said, you tell it to go in the name of Jesus, because I knew he couldn't say rebuke. I said, you say, you go in the name of, and he turned and looked so angrily at that place. And he goes, you go in the name of Jesus. And he buried his head back down into my chest. And I've taught him to do that now. And said that but you know what if we do that? So then it wasn't just it was the next morning that he woke up and he was really upset about his hair. He's touching his hair, he's touching it. I said, buddy, what is the matter with you? Now listen, my family thinks my hair just falls out. They don't realize that it moves. Okay?
Yeah, yeah. I got that one.
That's what it is. It's one of the symptoms of Morgellons. I just tell people.
I think it's static electricity, but that's not always the case.
I just tell people my hair falls out. I pick my battles. Me and Lisa talked about this. My hair will not be one of them. But my grandson goes, snakes. He says snakes in his hair. I was in tears. So I gave him an Epsom bath, and I took Candy's had some great remedies for hair. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to be more and more people joining these groups every day.
So many.
Eventually,
we're tripled in size from when I first came down with it.
Our own families are going to, they may not realize what it is yet, but there's that one symptom that's across the board for everybody, and that's the hair, and you just can't deny it.
The itching, just horrible itching that you just can't stop. That is another good one. And the reason I say this is because we have some new viewers tonight. The reason why I told you all I spoke with the gentleman that, he is having a hard time. I told him that we would be on. But, I have the TI guy, who's experienced the horrible itching. I have some other people I met over the week when I was in training and in Houston at some of the stores that I had to stop at. So we probably have Well, we have more tonight. Right now, we have what 18 on here. That's more than we've had per live viewing. I think ever actually, right?
Oh,
Can you see it from your end?
No. But
Yeah,
another thing too, like I told you, I'm
I
in
take that
the
back. It's 19 of us
well,
here
another
tonight.
thing too, I'm in the Black Salve group. I'm in the like several homestead groups, foraging groups. And it's like more and more people, it's like, oh, I got this rash, and I'm like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, and they don't even realize what they have. And they're like, well, I
They
tried
just need
everything.
to figure it out.
I just
Like a
cannot
Well, I'm going to be
amoxicillin.
honest.
help everybody, and I'm like, sometimes I just read their posts and I'm like, well, they already had 200 comments, so I'm not even going to go there.
Yeah,
But the
we
thing
don't even believe us
is that,
when we tell them.
you can talk about the rash, but people are going to chalk that up to scabies. Scabies is the one go-to that the doctor said.
Every
Okay, but
single
when you
time, or Lyme, which they
but
gotta
wait,
understand Lyme is not what
but,
they think.
but wait, when the symptom comes, and it comes to everyone, it's across the board that your hair starts moving, your hair starts hurting you.
I noticed
You
my hair
start,
was doing this all the time.
that was the symptom that I just couldn't ignore.
Yeah, and another one is that when you feel like stuff's crawling up underneath your skin.
Yes,
See, I didn't have
yes.
the hair symptom first, so I think it's different for everyone. That's why I want to convey that the symptoms are multiple, and it could be stronger for one person than it is for the other. But for
But
instance,
there's not one that doesn't go through that hair thing, Lisa, and that's what I'm saying.
I didn't experience it till later. Like I think a month
Oh,
after I realized I had it, that mine did. I didn't even notice it. Nothing. I first saw the fibers coming from like my fingernails, my toenails, areas like that. Never saw it
well,
with my
that's
hair, and then a month later, my hair was like just going like it had a mind of its own. I have pictures of my hair being long, standing straight up on end for and moving around. I mean, nothing. It should have made my family freak out, but then it's like, oh, it's that static electricity. I'm like, are you freaking insane? Number one, this is
I'm saying
human
my hair is
and
not my own.
static.
My hair wasn't
Yeah.
my own anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
That's right.
and then it was the cotton coming out of my body, and
The cotton,
and
the
it was
fibers,
like
bundle
cotton
fiber,
balls.
fiber bundles. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it
what
was
I had
terrible.
first. And then it came with insect parts and plant life and plant matter, the GMOs.
You're birthing that by.
Our
Yeah.
cereal box candy, right?
Well, I told you like years ago, it's like I would wash my head and then I put cream rinse in there and I'd get out of the shower, I'd blow dry it, and it felt like I hadn't washed it in 6 months. And I
Yeah.
had that
It feels
thick,
weird.
I had that really thick cradle cap biofilm. It was real thick on my scalp. I mean, well, we had to get like a paring knife and I couldn't scrape it off even. And so I started using that borax. I mean, I'm like, it just got rid of all that thick biofilm.
Look at my head itch.
Soft. My hair is soft. It's like, man, I love that. I love that stuff in my shampoo. I don't get the creepy crawlies. When I comb my hair, I can look at it. There's no fibers in it.
I haven't
And
felt
it
that
used to be
in
full.
years,
It used to be
actually.
full of fibers.
I felt it real bad for the first 3 years of this, but I haven't felt it in a long, long time. Thank the Lord. But I see it on other people all the time. They don't even know.
Frustrated because my husband liked me having long hair, but I kept telling him, I'm like, it doesn't feel like I washed it. I just washed
Like
it.
a thick biofilm in your hair.
Disgusting. And it just was dead. It had no body, no life. And I'm like,
that's how mine was. Yep.
I couldn't figure out for the life of me why my hair always felt so dirty. I even went and bought shampoo and cream rinse that was like $35-$40 a bottle at the salon, and nothing worked other than the borax. Nothing.
I just stopped worrying about it one day, and I think they pick their parts. Wherever you're going to focus the most is where they want to stay. And then, like, they would move, like, to my neck. They went from there to my neck, and then from my neck
If
to
you
my
thought,
forehead.
yeah,
into
it's
my
crazy.
arms.
If you think about it, that's where they would go. It was crazy. You're making my head itch starting to think about it.
I know. I was like,
well, I think that's when my face broke out so bad because my scalp was so bad, and then when I got that cleared up, it feels like,
mine moves from here down.
Yeah,
like
it moves. It moves, and that's why I think we have a lot of problems with our
See, my
legs.
hair is not affected anymore. It's just like
Yeah.
it used to be. It's soft, it's
I
manageable.
would,
There's no
We have a lot of problems with our
when I
legs because when we're constantly
forehead
detoxing,
was next.
we're pushing things down and out. So what doesn't
Yeah.
go into the toilet settles in your legs.
yeah, well,
Which is
I
where
would love
mine
to
at the
grow my
backs of
hair
my
back.
now.
I would love to grow my hair back.
You
I never set out to shave
I'm
it,
telling
not
you.
ever. And I
It'll
still
be
cry
fine.
every time I have to do
Grow
it.
it back,
Hmm?
Sheila. They move.
What's
They
that?
move. Like it's weird. They just pick their spots. They will move in your hair, I promise.
Well, it hasn't
I mean,
happened
they
yet. It's been 6
just, I
years.
mean, it was weird though. It, like Candy said, they just moved from my head to my forehead to my face, then down to my neck, and the next thing you know, my torso, my arms. I mean, it was almost like they just kept packing their bags. Like, well, she's not going to pay attention to us up here to keep us irritated.
Pep oil. What is pep
Keep my
oil?
hands off, and that's when they do that.
Well, and
What is
remember when
pep oil?
I used that Bordeaux's baby butt paste because I had taken that diatomaceous earth and it was like pushing everything into the toilet. So all that stuff was going into the toilet. So yeah, it worked. But then like once a lot of it settled in my butt cheeks and my vaginal area, and I was like, bloody wall down there. Yeah. Because
it's almost like, that biofilm is a weighted layer of skin, and people that are watching that are new that don't really know what's going on, have you noticed portions of your body that feel heavier, thicker, or waxier than others?
Yeah.
Did your skin suddenly clear up, or do you not look as old as you used to? Because a lot of people look younger with Morgellons. But then you go through a thing where it makes you look older because that biofilm gets heavy and it weighs it down.
Well, my friend Mimi in New York, I went to see her one time, and her arms were like swollen. I don't know if I told you guys about this, but we put a charcoal activated detox pad that's supposed to go on the bottom of your foot, put it on her arm, and it took like 2 days.
Oh, good idea.
Yeah,
where do we get those?
But it purged all that stuff out, and then once it poured all that crap out of her, she held her arms up, and this one was half the size of this one, just from wearing one of those on her arm.
I'm gonna put some on my flipping backs of my legs.
You can get them at the dollar store.
Put them at Walmart
or Walmart.
Yeah, and I had
go to the store real quick.
Yeah, I had Lena put one on her stomach. She was having stomach problems, and so she just put it on her stomach, and it pulled a bunch of stuff out.
Really good idea, guys.
It's nasty when it purges.
When I put them on my feet,
and these you gotta be ready for that.
Too.
Yeah, when I put them on my feet, I put like Walmart bags over top of my feet, and I slept in it. I taped them on with Scotch tape. But the next morning when I woke up and all that stuff poured out of my feet, I was like, oh my God, it was sloshing around in the bag. And I run to the sink and I was trying to wash it off. And I even used Dawn. I couldn't get that slimy, crappy crap off. I had to get a Scotch-Brite and Dawn and literally just scrub it off the bottom of my feet.
I mean, if people only knew how much biofilm they had built up on them, I'm talking the entire population, and how much detoxing they really need to do to fill. I mean, people are sluggish and they don't even realize they're sluggish. They're tired all the time. People aren't thinking straight. And I know the whole world's feeling that brain fog and that sluggishness and that tiredness. And I mean, there's no energy anymore. And that's because this takes a toll on every single human being out there. It does. And I mean, the best thing you can do is detox, which is not easy. But I mean, take our words for it. Try to eat. Try to do it.
Detoxing is good, but you got to keep a balance of life and living, and not in the bathroom.
Yeah,
you can't do it.
I'm not gonna lie, I've done it only once because I hated it. So,
but we've all got stuck there, where coming out and but you quit living. You can't do that either. You got to have a healthy. Yeah, you set a timer and say, that's it. This is what I'm doing, and that's it. And don't do 6 or 7 things because you don't know which one of those are working.
I think the main thing is don't forget to live, though, right? Don't forget to live.
Don't forget to
live.
Dying to live.
when my grandkids came the other day, and I'm telling you, I had it looked like, well, it was a lesion, but it looked like a cut, like, and it came all the way down my cheek, all the way down here. Oh, I'm telling you, I look like Edward Scissorhand. Both sides of me got a hold of me. But you know what? I didn't stop those grandbabies from coming. I laughed, and I went to the creek with them, and I played with them, because you got to have joy. That's what energizes you to keep
Work for my
going.
boss. There's no joy there. My boss, sorry. She literally makes me less of a person. I'm not gonna lie, and I always feel horrible after I leave there, speak with her. Like she just, and people are gonna do that to us. And I allowed that yesterday, and it's a long story, but the thing is, we can say no. We don't have to allow those things, and I should just know, like, I don't owe you any explanation. Walk away, right? But there's a part of us that wants to defend ourselves, no matter what it is. When we're saying we have Morgellons or Lyme disease, or what, we want to defend our honor because we know we're truthful, worthy, good, wholesome. We're dying to live, but we find ourselves being human at the end of the day, and it's easy to fall into that and let the world bring us down, and that's also very hard on your health. So fight it to the best of your ability. Cut the negativity out of our lives the best we can is a really good advice that I need to follow myself. But I mean, we have to keep our spirits healthy, and I think that all of this amounts, a big portion of it is how spiritually healthy are you? How much, like, sometimes you
I
have
really
to
have
lay
a
that
hard
burden
time
down
holding
and give it
this
to
phone.
yourself.
I'm having a terrible time with this phone.
I think, well, we're
88.
going on over an hour here now, girl. So I don't know
Yeah,
if you
I'm
want to
ready.
add anything else, Lindsay or Diva.
Just be kind to yourself. Love yourself. And this is hard, but reach out. I know that you can't go to your family, but you have a new family now. You have a new family. You're not alone. You're not alone. And please get closer to God. It's the
He's the
only
only,
way you're going to
that's
make
the
it.
only thing that's going to save any of you with any illness. It's not just this. What you're battling is the same thing in a different form. The only way you can get through this is finding the Almighty Savior who created you, because you did not come from a damn fart. I'm sorry. It's impossible. Somebody made the fart if you think you did. The fart still came from something somewhere. Chicken, egg, whatever it is. It's not. It's God. And maybe that's why you're here, because he has faith in you, and he knows that bringing you here will help you find him, because you have something big to do. You have a whole
Listen,
world.
I just want to tell Last Call Ministry, whoever you are, we love you. We're not alone.
Yeah,
Bobby,
We're not
right?
alone.
Bobby. Bobby says, I have many a message to send to many people. And I thank you, ladies. No better yet. I love and thank you. I can't tell you how much you minister to me. God sent you beautiful spirits to minister to me tonight. I am so, so blessed you're praying. We got this. And
We do
again,
got this, Bobby, right?
don't forget now, I'm going to tag you guys on that post from that guy where he was like, it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
I love stuff like that. And I think I've seen it, Candy, actually. I love testimonies.
He just put it out today. He just put it out
Oh,
today.
okay, because I saw one similar to that a while back, and this guy was hardcore at one time, and just pouring his heart out and saying, "I just didn't realize that all I ever had to do was just hand it over to God and just have the faith that I've always been told about, but I didn't believe because, well, we're too stubborn. We think we just know everything. But the thing is it going to hurt to humble ourselves?" And this man made this very valid point that we are such stubborn individuals. We're so all me, me, me. Why this did happen to me? Why? And the thing is, we never thought to think that maybe we don't need the answers. Maybe it's not fair. Maybe it doesn't have to be fair, because maybe there is an answer and it's one answer. And if you just seek it out, you'd find the happiness that you have been seeking your entire life. I mean, for
Yeah.
eternity. It's a message, right, Candy? Like a beautiful message. And I can't wait to see that one, because I love those testimonies. Because, I mean, we don't have to have perfect here when we got perfect coming forever, eternal. And we're awake for a reason. We're sick for a reason, and we're awake for a reason. We are here to help and awaken the world. And I firmly believe that all of us that have this,
Well,
you have a calling.
on that note, Lisa, I'm going to sign off because see, I'm a different
Okay.
time zone than y'all. Okay, but listen, may the Lord bless and
So
keep you all,
love you.
and everyone
Love you later,
have a
friends.
good night. May the Lord bless and keep you. I love yous, and I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Good night, Lisa. Sheila.
Love you. Love you. Bye. Bye. Bye, guys. Love you guys. Thank you for everything, for being here.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night night. I don't know if I'm doing
Bye, Lisa.
this right because I never do this.
Huh? What?